Star Trek Lower Decks Review, Season 3, Episode 3. I am not a cube.
I'm sorry. The because of the ending of the episode, that title just giggle. I mean, I feel for Boimler. I really do. I have been called a robot as well. Although that whole, like trying to show each other up thing, I get it. Really, I get it. It's like, us, you guys are so cool. We were just trying to be as cool as you.
You're the Enterprise of the Cali classes. Like, well, when you really factor in all the crap that are in because they're main characters in a Star Trek show, it's like invariably there's going to be crap going on. So,
Yeah,
because
valid.
you can think of it either out of universe, like they're going through crap because they're the they are who they are, or they're in a show, or you can think of it like, well, if you had a camera and you were looking at Cali classes, which Cali class would you follow? And it's like if this was an in-universe sort of thing, it's like, yeah, who would you follow? Well, you'd follow the interesting one, and that's them. The
Yeah,
rest of them are probably doing completely boring stuff, but just like they keep running into like all sorts of crap. It's like they're sent on very normal missions that are completely within the Cali class's mission profile, but every time they just luck into something bad or good, luck into something weird happening.
Hey,
yeah.
so as someone doesn't know everything about Star Trek, you mind telling me how the classes go from lowest to highest?
They don't really like
Oh.
It's more the class of ship just defines the template they use.
Ah. Okay. So
Yes.
there's classes,
It's kind
but it's
of like-
random.
It's kind of like a model of car.
Okay.
Like there are some people who will, swear to their Teslas or whatever, and then there are some who are like,
Yeah.
ooh, Tesla, that's so hoity-toity.
Yeah, there are more
what- I
prestigious.
don't know car models enough. I just using that as an example.
Yeah,
'cause that's
there are
the-
more. Yeah, each
Oh,
class just denotes a Cali class denotes that type of ship, and so
Yeah.
every Cali class basically looks like
the
that.
same basic
Okay.
shape.
And so I'm sure there are, because what Cali classes are made to do. It's like in the Navy, like there's aircraft carriers, and those are very prestigious, and then you have patrol boats. Well, they're more on the patrol boat end of the spectrum. They're still necessary. They still do an important job. It's just maybe not as prestigious as, say, an aircraft carrier. So,
Yeah.
like, whatever the flagship is at this moment, which I guess that would be the E, probably. Like Enterprise E. So, like,
Okay.
that ship, oh, frick, is it Sovereign class, or I'm blanking on the class of the E. I think, was it Sovereign? Or no, I'm not sure. Anyway,
I thought it was like Olympian or something.
no, it's not Olympian. That's no. That the Olympia is I think that's one of those ball ships.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so like something like a deep space exploration vessel, like something like the Intrepid, is going to be more like something like
Adventure.
what the Voyager was. Yeah, it was a sovereign. I should have trusted myself. Yeah, like yeah, a sovereign is the newest, hottest thing in the fleet. Whereas, there are ships that are more boring. Their mission profile is just like I think the Sovereign was built to be a Borg hunter. It's like, oh, yeah, that's a Borg hunter or something. It's like I'm not sure if it's built to be a Borg hunter, but it ends up. But
Well, if all the Enterprise were Sovereign class, then technically it wouldn't be a Borg hunter because they didn't meet the Borg until after the Enterprise was going.
well, I mean the E, like each Enterprise
Like,
is basically a different class, except the first few that are all Connies, like different, like the original and the A are Constitutions, and then the B is a Constitution. B got to a Constitution refit, wasn't it? And C is a brand new ship.
oh, okay.
I think that's how that, like, the first three are, I think. Again, I'm
Listen,
not trusting my brain. I know the first one and A are both Connies.
Listen, I'm not a car guy. I don't, the whole make and model shit is a little beyond my purview. I'm more into the, astrophysics.
Yeah, well, each time, like, it
Damn it, I'm
also
a
speaks
doctor,
of
Tim,
its.
not an engineer.
The Enterprise kind of speaks of its era. Like
Yeah.
the first few are, I think, I want to check the Enterprise B, but like I know for a fact when you get to the C, the that's a totally different type of ship. Uh, mm, no, B they changed and C they okay. B was the Excelsior, yeah, and then there was a C we don't see a lot of, and then D we saw a whole lot of, and then E. But yeah, most of the Enterprises have been more exploration-y, but with the threat of the Borg, the E got a little more fighty because they just came
Yeah.
out of the Dominion War, and then they have the Borg right on top of that. So it's like the E got a little more fighty, and so it's also whatever the Federation, whatever the flagship is, whatever the current Enterprise is going to have a little more prestige. Like having a sister ship of the same class as the yeah
Yeah.
it's going to be that. But
Okay.
yeah, it's mostly the Enterprises have mostly been exploration ships. Maybe not long range science vessels like Voyager, but they've been sort of a balanced version, like the best technology of the day, advanced and fairly well balanced. Though the galaxy got a little big, but it got fat because Federation got fat. It got into a really peaceful era, and like there was no fighting going on. Like there was no Borg yet, so they're like, okay, there's no Borg yet. We've made peace with everybody. Like we made peace with the Klingons. We've got an alliance with them. We've got a treaty with the Romulans, and like they're staying on their end of the thing. We had this whole skirmish thing with the Cardassians, but that wasn't that big a deal. So let's build a big F off Galaxy class. It was a gigantic ship. It was an entire city onto itself. Basically, apartment building city. It's very big. And just like
Yeah.
so like, but then when the Dominion War came on, and then the Borg came, and it's like, oh, we need our Enterprise to be a little more fighty, so they made the E. So they picked the Sovereign to be the new Enterprise. But yeah, there's not really like the class just tells you what, like this is the model of ship we're going
Yeah,
to make.
it's like the make and model thing of cars. It's like it just tells you who made it basically, and like what type of car it is. It doesn't tell you a class is not like a caste system.
Yeah, but there will be, if you're serving on a Cali class, that's less prestigious than say being on a serving on a Sovereign or a Titan or the Titan, like whatever the Titan is, their class is. But like those are more, those are more active fighty ships. They're more
That's because
active
those are military.
exploration and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, but that's more on the prestige end. That's why you see all these, whenever like they, always you're on a Cali class, it's like, oh, Cali class, that's a backwater. You're not doing much. You're doing important things, but you're not doing very interesting things.
You're the garbage truck.
You're necessary,
It's important,
but you're necessary. You're very important that you do your job.
but you're not the cool kids.
But your job isn't very cool. Like, it's important, but it's not very cool. Like, you're going around doing the bureaucratic stuff after, Riker's gone and done first contact with a new species. They send you in behind to sort of plop all deliver all the tech, and maybe carry a diplomat, the boring stuff,
until you end up getting caught up in subterfuge and other crap that people try to get away with when, oh, we're not dealing with the Enterprise, so we can get away with stupid shit.
Yeah, and maybe they do get away with it
a lot of times.
Yeah, but they got the wrong Cali class.
Yeah. It's like, ooh, we got a Cali class. We can get away with murder. No, you can't.
Not this one.
Although I do love how the captains were fighting over, I don't want it. You take it. No, you take it. Will someone just take it? I was really hoping Tendi would take it. Just like, I'll take it. Shut up.
Well, technically, she did take it. She just
did, and broke it because, listen, there is a spy device in here. What? Hey, she got him to listen.
Like, you're to be the voice of science on the bridge. It's like, yeah, sometimes the voice of science has to yell.
Yeah, especially with some of the captains.
Yeah, and it's like, captains never listen to anybody. Like, they listen to really, if you think about it, all the like, a lot of the captains, it's like, no, chief engineer, oh, it'll take 3 hours. You got 2. What? No, I can't.
That's why Scotty's rule.
Yeah, you always.
If it'll take you 3 hours, if it'll take you 2 hours, you tell them 3. But that's lying. Yes, but when you finish it in 2, you'll be a god.
Miracle worker. I think this is his exact phrase. Yeah, it's like, you'd be a miracle worker. You get a reputation as a miracle worker, but yeah. So, they never listen to their chief medical officers. Like, unless they specifically ask for it, usually, like, they ignore it. And their science officers actually, of the group, like, they ignore their medical officer. He's like, Captain, you need to lie down. You've worked yourself too thin. No, my crew needs me. It's like, all right. We can't do that, Captain. I don't care. Get it done. It's like, science officer. It's like, but usually he's asking for the science officer to give him the analysis. It's like, well, it takes less time, and it's usually right there, and it's actually something he wants to hear, or she, but it's usually how it goes. It's like, for the entirety of it, like the captain usually listens to their tactical officer, and usually listens to their science officer. Tells their engineer to speed it up, and never listens to their chief medical officer unless it's the crew. If it's them, I don't care. Crew needs me. I'm gonna go anyway. Even if I've got a dislocated shoulder, I'll be on the bridge. Pop it back into my shoulder. Give me some localized pain meds. I'm going back to the bridge. I don't need my arm to lead on the bridge.
Yeah. I'm surprised we haven't talked about the make your fantasy come true stones yet.
Oh,
Yeah, that got interesting.
Oh yeah. I know. Okay.
We can see why
What is
Mariner
it
and Boimler don't hook up.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say also, what's up with visored engineering officers and the woman who helped design the Galaxy class? Like, is she just like it? Is that just hotness for them?
Well, I think at
Also,
least
I gotta.
in Rutger's case, it's not so much her, it's the whole come check my data. Like
Oh,
I
God.
am one of the top most prestigious scientists. I want you to prove me wrong.
But
Also, like when the nightmares came on, it was like, wait, are we sure that the werewolf version of her is a nightmare, not a fantasy?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she's a furry, but I think it's not so much her being a werewolf, it's her
Oh yeah.
wanting that commitment.
No, it just
Yeah.
made me think. It just made me think of something. So, if you've ever seen the show a while back ago called fuck, what was it? Danny Phantom, right?
Never seen it. I've heard
Well,
of it.
there was a scene where there was like this goth chick ghost, right? And one of the characters was like, "Damn, she's hot," and all of a sudden she turns into the werewolf, and the character's like, "Yeah, still hot."
Okay.
It made me think of that.
Yeah, which shows also one of her fears. Like, it's like she's not afraid of much of anything, but she's afraid of committing, slowing down, being boring, and growing old together, growing orchids.
Okay,
It's like,
okay. Thank you. Because for a second, when I watched that episode, right, I thought she said, "Let's grow together and grow organs." Like, what the
no,
fuck?
no,
No,
orchids.
Okay, so I definitely misheard that.
Let's grow flowers together and be boring.
Okay.
Because there's nothing more
Okay.
terrifying for Beckett Mariner than being boring.
Oh, thank God I didn't. Thank God I
Which
misheard that.
is why which makes sense as far as the the other guys being like, we're not taking you seriously, you're just silly, boring, childish. It's like you're questioning me, you're like thinking I'm not as up to your standard. Questioning Mariner's superiority is a way to get your ass kicked. Although
It's also a good way to bait her.
yeah, if they hadn't, they would have ended up not finding out that it was all a trap.
Yeah. And then we covered Mariner, which like, there's nothing saying that she doesn't go both ways, but we know she at least goes one way.
Yeah, she's
Or
at least
always. You're in Star Trek, so gender
Yeah.
is even more fluid. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. there's lots of sentient species, sapient species rather, out there. You know,
And some of them don't even have a specified gender.
yeah, and
Which
some of them have 3. You know,
which makes me
some have 2,
think.
some have 3, some have.
And some just body swap, so it really doesn't matter. Kind of like that really disappointing episode of Jen, where like where Crusher's like, I'm sorry, I'm not into chicks.
So
Because the trill.
seeing the nightmare version of like the Borg snake, right? Which I'm guessing that's what it was.
Yeah, it was somebody afraid of snakes and the Borg, and it
Okay.
got mixed together.
It made me think of a question. Do Borg only assimilate
Sapient species? Yes.
sapient species? Okay, so they won't go like find a bunch of like snakes or like cats or whatever and just like Borgify.
Oh, Borg cat, that'd be adorable.
Oh my god, it would be. Meow, join the meow.
Put a note in the chat to draw that later. Borg kitty.
It'd be adorable, but Matrix got it. Oh yeah, Matrix got it. But yeah, yeah, it's like we have, the logical thing to do. We have mice problems somehow on this Borg cube. We shall assimilate the human Borg cat.
Whose
Human
idea
cat.
was it to make Borg mice in the first place?
They would be good infiltrators. It's like those. Oh, I know it's in classic Who, but it's like these little
Cybermats.
Yeah, Cybermat. Yeah, we don't really see them as much in the new series, but
I think we did see him in one episode.
yeah, not as much.
Finish. Yeah, either that or it was. I know we see him in Big Finish, but
Yeah, we don't see him as much. But then the Borg Queen just like, okay, no more assimilating small animals, sapient species only. We're not getting tricky with the Borg mice.
that would be so funny. Like the Cybermats invade the Borg cube.
Oh my god. Oh, I don't know. For some reason, another question just randomly popped in my head. Can the Borg reproduce?
No, not the way you think. They just
So pretty much when you get Borgified, you become sterile.
well, I mean, technically they probably could, but they don't.
Okay. Okay.
Like, I don't know if Seven of Nine could have reproduced. I mean, she's beyond that now at this point, but
True. Okay.
Yeah,
she had her kid. I mean, she had Itchy.
yeah, and I think it's mostly them thinking it's much more efficient to
Steal a baby.
To steal a baby than to wait the gestational period for a Borg drone to gestate an entire thing, and it may the assimilation process may interfere with reproduction as well.
Yeah,
like it may, the way they have to do it, with the nanoprobes and whatnot, it would
also, I think they are sterile because didn't they say something about that in Voyager in one of the later seasons?
I don't remember, but
about
it's been too long since I've seen all of Voyager. But yeah, essentially, it's more efficient just to steal a baby or steal a full-grown human or full-grown whatever it is, and just assimilate that, and then you don't have to. You also, if you they have assimilated Borg babies. Those exist. We saw them in maturation chambers, but mostly
and
they seem.
And there was that one episode of lower decks where he was rescuing all the Borg babies until he got 100%.
Yeah, but mostly they do adults because they also the advantage to assimilating adults is that they also have information, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much the Borg. Like, yes, they need
That's
the foot
Borg
soldiers, but
motto.
they also need
You're
they need the bodies, they need the just the raw material, but they also need they're also after all the information that an individual would have, and if they, you know,
I
we
mean,
want to know about this particular type of warp drive. Well, if they just catch up to one, assimilate their chief engineer, then that chief engineer would understand the system and go, oh, okay, this is how this works. Okay,
yeah,
now we
I
have
mean,
that information.
their motto is your individual and technological distinctiveness will be joined with our own. So
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's how Borg reproduce. They don't bother doing it themselves. It's much easier just to assimilate somebody else.
yeah, you just steal the baby rather than make one.
Yeah. Then you don't have to. We also don't have to put in all the upfront investment in raising them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh,
Raise them, they maturation chambers. They don't even bother raising them. They just like stick them into a tube until they're grown.
Convenient.
I mean, that's what happened with the kids, which is why the kids in Voyager, Egypt and the others were saved from the virus. Well, the virus because he was the virus, but the others were saved from the virus because they were in maturation chambers, so they weren't linked up to the hive. I mean, in the same way.
I've seen that.
But yeah, we also have clown Klingons.
I know that.
I mean, that made sense.
Like,
I mean,
being afraid of Klingons, very understandable. You know, it's
being
like,
afraid of clowns, also understandable. I know lots of people who are afraid of clowns. I'm not, but I think they're ugly, and I don't like them because they're ugly and just like aesthetically unappealing.
Yeah. Not to say that Klingons can't be, oh, you should be afraid of every Klingon you meet because that's kind of racist
I mean,
but an angry Klingon, that's a different story.
And a hungry Klingon.
Yeah.
And a drunk Klingon.
And a sad Klingon and a happy Klingon. Just Klingons in general.
Basically, any Klingon that isn't napping is potentially dangerous.
Because I'm studying Klingon in Duolingo, and the phrase a blank Klingon is a dangerous Klingon comes up a lot. Like a drunk Klingon is a dangerous Klingon. A happy Klingon is a dangerous Klingon. And just like changing the adjective.
Yeah, other than he's unconscious. Like, as long as he's unconscious and you're not going near him, that's a less dangerous Klingon.
Let sleeping Klingons lie.
Yeah, just don't bother the Klingon. Yeah. They're not all, they're not savages. Some of them are savage, but
they're
so
savage.
it's like, what was that? Was it Quark? It's like, look at these humans, they're given their creature comforts, and they're wonderful, kind, warm people. Take away their creature comforts, put their lives at risk, and they're as dangerous or more dangerous than any Klingon. It's like, oh yeah, because it was a siege of what was it? It was that episode of Deep Space Nine where this group of Federation was on this planet holding out against these Jem'Hadar, and every time, like, one of them had like a necklace of the tubes, the Ketracel white tubes that he'd taken off of dead Jem'Hadar. It's like, oh yeah. Yeah, they're yeah. Humans are a lot scarier than, like, Star Trek's like, oh yeah, humans are scary when they don't have their creature comforts. It's like piss them off at your like. Usually they're pretty diplomatic and good at getting along
It's
with
like
others, but don't push the pink skins to the thin ice because it's not a good thing to do. It's like
don't get between me and my chocolate milk.
yeah, it was something from that's a line. It's not a line from the official Star Trek. That's from Axanar or something. It's like don't put like the prelude to Axanar or whatever it was. It was a fan thing. It's like don't push the pink skins to the thin ice. That might have showed up somewhere else, but basically it's like don't push the humans too far. Like they're usually pretty nice, and but you put them in danger, too much danger, and it gets create all that creativity that's working on all that science and exploration and whatnot and diplomacy, all that fun stuff. Yeah, that all gets turned into I'm going to kill you in a very creative way, and that's not a very nice place to be. um,
So it's all a scheme anyway to get top secret information from Starfleet, even though you work for Starfleet.
well, no, they were scientists, so they're not. I'm not sure they're really in Starfleet. Maybe they're I don't know. He was
They're
because they were
not.
because
They're not in Starfleet because they made the mention
yeah, Ransom went on a
that.
whole rant about
Oh, I
you
get
can't
that,
just
but I
join
thought
Starfleet. You got to be a scientist and go out to these. He says get yourself
I meant like I thought like Starfleet like also like watched over all like the scientists and
yeah.
stuff.
They're not they're not Starfleet personnel, but Starfleet does have a responsibility to take care of them. And so because they need somebody to get from point A to point B. I mean, like they might be attached to something like the Daystrom Institute or something, and they're they request Starfleet assistance to get them to the place they're going to study, and keep them supplied, but basically they're not in the chain of command. They're not ensigns or crewmen or anything. They're just sort of civilians that Starfleet drops off at a research outpost, and then just like they do their thing, and they occasionally come back with supplies or to move people around, but what else?
Yes.
I think we covered all the. Did we? There was random basketballs as well, but
Yeah.
but I think we covered basically all the. Oh, we did.
Oh, there's that flying serpent thingy.
Yeah. I don't remember if that was anything. The other thing I was going to talk about, we missed one thing was Boimler's temptation, and it was really a sidecar. In your own fantasy, you don't even drive. It's like
Driving is dangerous. Yeah. I would totally. I'm Boimler it out. It's like, yeah, I'd do sidecar.
Yeah. Which also like one thing about it was well, no. I was gonna say, like, the way he was talking at first, I was like, is that like the need some of that Boimler charm or whatever it was he said, the Admiral said, and it was like okay, well, like for a second I was like, is this a Tom Paris situation where like he's got a a famous father or uncle or something that's like an admiral or something, and that would be why he would know, and it's like, is that how he's doing this? But then he does grow, the Boimlers grow raisins. I don't know how long, how many generations back that are on Earth doing that. Like,
Yeah.
maybe his, for all we know, his father was in Starfleet and retired or something, or he's still in there, but like his family still owns the his
Yeah.
mom stays back on Earth and helps manage the Boimler estate, and he comes back, and he may have like a desk job on Earth, and it's like, okay, yeah, I go to my desk job in San Francisco and transport back to the raisin farm in the evenings or something. Like, but again, it's a fantasy, so I have no idea. But like, we know the only thing we know really about his family, as far as I know, is that his family owns a raisin farm, a raisin vintner, or not vintner.
It would be it would be a vineyard because grapes grow in a vineyard.
Yeah, it's vineyard. Yeah, yeah. So it would be a raisin vineyard. It's just a weird thing because you don't usually put those things together. Like,
Yeah,
I
but I
guess you
mean,
just
Yeah.
mostly call it
grapes,
a,
just
or either call it a vineyard or call it a raisin, a farm for raisins. And would it be yeah, I guess it's a because it's an orchard would be a tree, a farm would be other plants. This is a vine, so it would have to be a vineyard.
I mean, they
So
did call it a vineyard in the
yeah,
episode.
yeah, it's a vineyard, but it doesn't. But we oh, you make wine? It's like, no, make raisins. It's like, eh.
Somebody has to do it. Oh, I love the part where it's like, wait, are you really gonna cut off my foot?
yeah, that chainsaw thing.
Hey, although honestly, in that situation, I wouldn't really care if they cut off my foot. If they can like grow me a new one like in a few hours or whatever, then yeah, sure, why not?
Especially
mean-
if the other one like necrotic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's supposed to be
I
digested.
was a little surprised it was a chainsaw because it seems to me like they would, it
I
would
think
be
she just did that just to be an ass. She sets it aside and actually brings out like a laser knife or whatever. It's like, here you go.
Like scalpel, yeah.
make him
Yeah.
faint so that it's like, okay, well, we scared him enough. All right, now we'll get to the actual precision
Like I save a
tools.
ton on anesthesia.
But
Yeah.
let's see. So
What else?
more professional jealousy from his like,
No, you take it. No, you take it. No, you take it. No, you take it. No,
yeah.
you take it.
It's like
I was,
old school. It's like
and then at the end, it's like, here, you can have this piece. Well, I don't want to take something from the great captain. It's like, no, I have a bigger piece.
There's a just take it and put it in the closet like everybody else does. Hurtful.
What do you expect me to have it on my desk forever? I do this a lot. I have
True.
trinkets from many places.
What else? What else? What else?
I'm glad they're doing they're continuing to do, because sometimes they do sometimes they do themes within a class of ships, and the California class continues to do a theme of places in California, because Cerritos is a place in California, Carlsbad's a place in California. Like, they're all based. If you watch all the Cali classes that they bring up, I think they all have had a name of a place in California. So Carlsbad is also in California. So
let's see. I'm drawing a blank on anything more for this episode.
yeah, we covered most of it, I think.
I mean,
No, I
would
did.
say
How was it?
With that, we finally get that therapist again, who really just so.
Yeah. I had
I love that at the end. It's like, well, I had a great mentor, and she's looking at the doc, and he's just like, "Oh, that's so sweet of you to say." Like, oh, that totally meant you, right?
yeah. And um Shax or I can't remember his name, but the security
Yeah.
officer whenever whenever they discover the plot, he's like I think he kind of enjoys the fact that, oh, yeah, these people that have been annoying me for the last little bit. Okay. No, you sit down. I'm taking that. I'm taking your staff. It's like, you guys are in deep.
See, I would try like making guesses on future episodes on the next episode, but this is really a show where each thing is kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's like bleed into other stuff, but it's pretty much its own thing.
Yeah. Other than the like there was the cliffhanger at the end of last season into this season, so you knew that was gonna be resolved, but it was resolved pretty quickly. Like,
yeah,
we now have we also in this one we got Beckett sort of this might be an ongoing thread for her is her girlfriend. Her hot Andorian girlfriend, who has very sensitive antennae.
Yeah.
That's why she does wear hats.
Kind of like how Drax doesn't wear shirts because he has sensitive nipples.
I have sensitive nipples. Oh, and I got nothing more.
Aside from Mariner is really manipulative because she got that her overseer guy to go play basketball.
Yeah, that's the
Not basketball. We're not playing basketball here.
yeah. She has like the thing about Mariner is her her baseline stats are pretty high. Like she's like what her like her stats of that like she can be charismatic and can get people to do what she wants, but she only ever does it to get into mischief. She rarely, well, not always, but like she uses it a lot to get into mischief, and so it ends up like,
Yeah.
if you just channeled this, like, this is like if she would ever like, like it would be like she wants to jump directly to captain essentially. Because the rest, because ensign rank's fine because you get to do adventure because you're always down there. You're the red shirt, security detail. You get to do all the fun stuff, and being a captain means you get to order everybody around and choose what to do and make all the decisions. And in between all those ranks in between, like you get to do less fun away mission stuff. You have way more responsibilities. There's so much paperwork. It's like I'm sure captains also have paperwork, but they can also delegate some of that. But yeah, it's just like, can I just jump from ensign to captain, just so I don't have to deal with all this paperwork?
Yeah, sure. Here is 10 years worth of paperwork.
But I got a feeling like maybe at the end of the series when they feel like they've run its course in another 4 seasons, like flash forward and Mariner does have her own ship, and somehow like she managed to climb like the flash forward, and she has her own ship. She's a captain, and Boimler is her number one. It's like, I told you. uh, anyway, yeah, I don't have much else. I can't think of anything
Me
else
neither.
off the top of my head.
Yeah.
All right.